Shalom and Shabbat Shalom. It is December the 19th, 2014, Friday night, the beginning of the Shabbat, the weekly Sabbath. It is also the fourth day of Hanukkah. The fourth day of Hanukkah has begun tonight, so we're smack dab in the middle of Hanukkah, halfway through this 8-day winter feast, the Feast of Dedication. You'd have to be really stubborn to continue to celebrate Christmas once you've learned the truth about the pagan origins of Christmas and the beauty of the Feast of Hanukkah, if you wanted to continue to keep Christmas. Because if you compare the two feasts, in fact, let's just do that. I'd like to do that for this fourth night of Hanukkah. Sort of imagine two columns in your head, and one is marked Christmas and one is marked Hanukkah. In Hanukkah, Yahshua, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, actually observed this holiday. You can read about it in John chapter 10, verse 22. Christmas, Jesus never celebrated Christmas, and in fact, the prophet Jeremiah in chapter 10, verses 1 through 6, actually condemns and writes against what would eventually become the Christmas tree. Read about it. So, on the one hand, you have Jesus celebrating Hanukkah, and yet, on the other hand, you have Jesus never celebrating Christmas, and in fact, Jeremiah, who has the Spirit of Christ within him, writes against a popular tradition at Christmas time. Christmas is only one day. People stress out trying to buy all their gifts, going to the shopping malls, going to get everything for just one day of unwrapping of gifts, whereas in Hanukkah, you have 8 days. That's right, 8 days of feasting, of festivals, of you could buy gifts for your friends and family, of spending time with Yah and your friends and family. It's 8 days long. So, of course, Hanukkah, the Feast of Dedication, is much better than Christmas. See, what Yah offers us is always much better than what the devil offers us. Christmas has absolutely nothing to do with Yahshua or Jesus, and yet is filled with pagan traditions like the Xmas tree as described in Jeremiah chapter 10, 1 through 6, like the mistletoe, the Yule log, so many pagan things in Christmas, whereas Hanukkah can be found in the book of 1st and 2nd Maccabees. It is about a small band of Jewish rebels known as the Maccabees who dedicated their lives to Yahshua, or rather to the Torah, to Yah, and because of this dedication to the Torah, they attained victory against impossible odds. So it's all about trusting and having faith in Yah, keeping His commandments, and being given the victory against impossible odds. So it's a victorious feast that points our hearts and our minds back toward Yah and back toward keeping His commandments. Yahshua says in John 8 that He is the light of the world, and during Hanukkah, the festive dedication, we light up our menorahs. It is the only feast in which we light up our menorahs during the darkest time of the year. Christmas is filled with phallic symbols and male and female genitalia, like the tree and the wreath, and has absolutely nothing to do with Yahshua, but is centered upon lust and pagan rituals. Hanukkah, the Feast of Dedication, it's biblical. It's a biblical feast. We see Yahshua keeping it in John 10. Christmas is completely and totally pagan in its origin and was stamped with Christ by the Roman Catholic Church. While Hanukkah, the modern day celebrations of Hanukkah by the Jews, does have some paganism in it, such as the myth about the oil burning for 8 days and the throwing the dreidel and the gambling. Those things can easily be removed from the Feast of Dedication, and you can center upon what this feast is all about, which is just as they cleaned out the temple, so too this should be a time where we rededicate our lives to Yahshua, and where we clean out our lives and dedicate ourselves to Him, and it should be a feast of purity. Christmas, it's all about paganism, revelry, people getting drunk. It was originally an orgy fest. That's what the Feast of Saturnalia was on December the 25th. It's just complete wickedness. So one emphasizes holiness, the other one emphasizes purity. So I hope that this short video has just sort of demonstrated a few key ways of why Hanukkah, the 8-day Feast of Dedication, is so much better than the Christmas celebration. For those of you who don't know, the Puritans, the early Puritans in the 16th century, they actually outlawed Christmas. They would not allow people to celebrate Christmas in the Massachusetts Bay Colony because they knew of the pagan origins of that wicked holiday. So, turn your backs on Christmas, cut that out of your life. Don't drag a Christmas tree into your home. Don't be part of the Christmas celebrations. It has nothing to do with Christ. But instead, be a pure, true follower of Mashiach, be a true Israelite, and keep the festival of dedication, the 8-day feast of Hanukkah, which is all about Yah, His Torah, living with purity and holiness, and overcoming impossible odds in Him. This is the 4th day of Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah, everyone, and Shabbat Shalom. This is Daniel John Lee with Torah Restoration Ministries. The website's www.spiritandtorah.com. Shabbat Shalom.